paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted. And I got to tell you guys, we are going back to kind of my old stomping ground. Once again, I know. But we're going to be talking about the ghosts and the haunted places on Route 66. Now, if you'll hang out, I did one last night where I was a guest on the UNX News with Margie K. And I talked a lot about, showed a little bit of evidence from places I'd been in St. Louis, just Route 66 in Missouri, basically. I did the Diamonds, the old truck stop, Tri-County truck stop, which was insane. Talked a little bit about the Fox Theater in St. Louis, a little bit about Prosperity School. You guys need to catch that. It will be on Friday, and of course, you can always catch it on YouTube. But I'm going to be on there talking about these places. And Margie was kind enough to come onto my show now, and we're going to talk about her book. And let me show you, the cover of the book is pretty wild. It's called Take a Haunted Road Trip on Route 66. Now, she goes beyond Missouri. And as you guys know, I've done Illinois, Oklahoma, Kansas, sure. But in fact, I'm wearing the t-shirt now from one of the haunted hotels in Kansas. See, most haunted hotel in Kansas. But she's going from Illinois to California. She's going through the whole Route 66. I cannot wait to hear more of the stories. And here is the lady who got me into this, put me in this seat. The lady who has started the UNX Network and the UNX Magazine, Margie K.
Hi, Dan.
Oh, good to see you again. Boy, it seems like forever. What was it? Last night?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to be airing your show tomorrow.
Well, I hope some people will catch it. And I know I'm going to show this one on Thursday, and you'll show mine on Friday or on Thursday?
On Friday.
On Friday.
Friday night while I am at the Bigfoot conference in Springfield.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I'll be around. But check out the show. Oh, wait a minute. No, I've got a ghost tour in Pilot Mountain. Never mind. Anyway, you got to check out the show on Margie's channel. It's called UNX News, right?
Yes.
And we had a lot of fun talking about Route 66 in Missouri, other haunted places in Missouri, places we've both been to, places she would be afraid to go to because God knows I was, but a lot of cool places. And tonight we're going to talk more about Route 66. So, Margie, what would you like to talk about specifically in this book that is out now, correct?
Yes, it is.
And where is it available at?
It's available at Amazon.com, and it'll be available in some other places shortly, but right now it's on Amazon, and it is in paperback. I will be doing a Kindle version a little bit later, probably January. But yeah, it's good to go. And that's something that I've been working on for quite some time. I've had some other books, in between time, but that's kind of how I work. I do 3 or 4 projects at the same time.
Okay. I understand that. Yeah. All right. So
I know you do.
Oh, God, yes. I have not even gotten, folks, a magazine article lately because I've been trying to do so much stuff here. But don't worry. There'll be one coming soon. At any rate, we've got you here to talk about that book and all the neat stuff that goes on Route 66. It is I guess, the first would you call it a super highway or the first just big highway?
Yeah, there really weren't a lot of highways. There weren't any highways to start off with. But in the late 20s, 30s, they started building a highway between Chicago and St. Louis, and it had originally been Native American trails, and then it was wagon trails, and then they decided to make this an official road of all along the same trails.
Okay. And of course, Eisenhower, when he was a lieutenant, was taking a convoy and found out the roads were just too bad a shape. So when he became president, he really pushed this idea.
Right. And they call it the Mother Road. And I think that started right around, it's called the Tice Road Law of 1913, which gave state assistance for road improvement. And that's how they were able to get the money to develop Route 66.
But the original Route 66, and I used to live on a piece of the original 66. I was raised there. And the old Route 66 was sharp curves, steep hills, narrow 2-lane roads, no shoulders, trees everywhere. Is that why it's so haunted? Because of all the death that was on it? Or is there other reasons?
That is one of the theories, is that it was such a dangerous road that, of course, when they first built it, the vehicles were not very fast and there weren't that many. But then as time went on, the vehicles got faster and there were more and more on the road. And so there were a lot of accidents. In fact, over 2,300 accidents that we know of. Okay. And oddly, also, this is interesting, Al Capone allegedly supported the building of the road, of course, for him to do his bootlegging traffic.
Of course. He was not a stupid man.
No, he wasn't. But there's a lot of history there, and that is why all across the U.S., some areas of it have been taken out and then straightened out, basically straighten the road out, so to avoid the more treacherous turns.
In the area where I was raised, Interstate 44 took the place of Route 66. So that was, long, straight, and really, really dull. It wasn't like it was when I was a little kid. We had the tourist traps. I mean, Route 66 started tourist traps.
Yeah, it did.
And I loved them.
Motels sprung up along the way. They would make little destination spots. They would do themes. And even now there are a lot of RV park and camping parks, and they've got themes, and they've got statues and playgrounds and all kinds of things for the kids. And the signs are one of the neatest things, I think, about the motels and the gas stations and the stops along the way. And a lot of them have been preserved.
Cuba has several. Cuba, Missouri.
And there's a spot now. I think it's outside Lebanon, if I'm not mistaken, because my husband and I were there. I don't know if you've seen this, Dan, this park that they've created with all of these replica signs. It's a nighttime light park.
Really?
And it is the coolest thing. Plus, they've also got a couple of, I think, World War II planes there.
I have not seen that one, no.
Yeah, I was able to get some pictures. I've got them on my cell phone. I need to get them downloaded, but it's the coolest place. And I think it would be a great place to have a conference sometime. Route 66.
So Route 66 started in Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and ended in California.
Right.
And there is what you sent me, which I got to show that. I got to show you something because it's pretty cool. But the 6th road to take off of Route 66 was Route 666.
Yeah. And that is known as the Devil's Highway. And they changed the name of it to 491 because of the problems they had But that one is the spookiest, I think, of all.
It really is.
Yeah.
I've driven on it, and I managed to pick up a keychain from there from a gas station in New Mexico. And see, I was looking for a Route 666 sign or anything to pick up at these convenience stores and souvenir shops. The best I could find was Haunted Highway 666 on a keychain.
So did anything strange happen to you while you were on that highway?
No, I can't say that it did. I was out there. It was in the broad daylight. And of course, it's really in the mountains. So I was looking at a lot of other stuff. There was a reservation nearby. So no, I didn't get to see anything. I was there for a few hours during the daylight. But I've been there. I can say I've been there, and I've got the keychain to prove it.
Well, I'll tell you what. There have been a lot of strange things happen on that highway, and I don't know. I remember years ago on one of Art Bell's shows, well, actually more than one, where he interviewed people who were truckers, because a lot of late night shows the truckers were listened to, and they would call in and tell stories that just were incredible. So I did include some of those in the book, but there's all kinds of tales from people who had things like they're driving along and then all of a sudden they're 400 miles ahead and they don't know how they got there in that amount of time, which, it should have taken a long time to get there. And they're just in this spot and they're like, what's going on? Then they're driving, but they had no clue what happened in between time, but they gained time. And then I've had, I personally spoke with someone who was in Oklahoma on Route 66, not on the 666, but on the 66. And he was headed to Springfield, Missouri. And at this one spot in Oklahoma, he said he saw like green fog come over. And it was at night, but it was very difficult to see through the fog. And as he came out of the fog, it lasted maybe 10 minutes, came out of the fog, he's pulling up to Springfield, Missouri from Oklahoma.
So this is actually the opposite of missing time. It's
gaining time.
Time acceleration. Yeah.
It was time acceleration. And he was so upset about it. I was talking to him in person about it at a meeting. Yeah. He was so upset. His voice was actually shaking at the time we were talking. And this happened several years ago to him. But people have had other strange things happen. And it's a creepy sounding place. I've remote viewed it a number of times. Okay. I really don't know if I want to drive on that road, because I think the scariest encounter was one my sister had in New Mexico. And on Route 666, she goes, "Oh yeah, I went on that and I saw a skinwalker." And I said, "You saw what?" She goes, "Yeah." Says she was driving with her daughter, and they were going to see her son. Driving north, all of a sudden they see a woman on the side of the road, walking on the side of the road in the middle of the night with they had seen no car behind them where she would have been walking from, because she's walking away from them, facing away from them. So they slowed down, rolled down the window, and they said, "Do you need some help?" And she turned to look at them, and she said, this woman had this most god-awful, horrid, non-human face that scared them to death. Then she leaned down on the ground and turned into a wolf, morphed into a wolf, and ran off out of sight.
Oh, my.
And my sister is a very practical person, very left brain. And she said if she had not experienced that, she would never believe that somebody had actually seen something like that. But skinwalkers have been seen on that road a number of times.
I've heard the stories, but never that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one to add to the list.
Okay.
Other people have experienced strange fog. One truck driver experienced a bright light behind him that at first he thought it was a car, But then he realized it was just one light, it wasn't two. And it followed him for quite some time. And it was dark and there were no other trucks or cars on the road, which he also thought was kind of strange, even though it was like 10:30 at night. And then he said the light just started going up, and he's watching his rearview mirror and he sees this light going up and then over the truck. And all of a sudden his whole cab is lit up super bright and blinding. And I think this was on Art Bell.
Okay.
I think this is where I got this story. And he said it blinded him so bad that he could no longer even see the road. So he had to stop. And he just waited and waited. And then he felt like there was a presence in the seat next to him, but he couldn't really make anything out. And he said he was just terrified, absolutely terrified, and just waited. He said it felt like forever. Maybe it was 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden, blink, the light went out. There was no feeling there of anything being with him. And then he just started, he drove on. And then he started seeing cars again.
Okay.
So he was in some kind of a vacuum or an energy vortex.
Yeah.
Probably UFO related for that one, I believe.
I thought that might be the case for some of the stuff going on there. That's why I got the alien behind me here.
Yeah, well, you know, once you go down this road, you get into all of these things being connected. You know, paranormal.
We've talked about that before, yeah.
Cryptids, ET, yeah, they're connected.
And there's those areas like, I can't remember the ranch, Skinwalker Ranch, that has all of it right there. Paranormal activity, same thing with Marley Woods. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, cryptids, everything right there in that area.
Yeah, you do get some spots. I think they're portals. I think something is causing the portals. In some cases, a building can cause a portal based on the shape of it, creating a vortex. And I've also seen some structures that I think were probably built by the Masons.
Okay.
Where they're using limestone, they're using things with quartz in it, and then creating a large structure in certain shapes that also create a vortex, and they're always aligned exactly north, south, east, west. And their doors are, there's a north, south door and an east, west door. I've noticed on these places, and I've gone out. I know you do a lot of dowsing, Dan, with paranormal. I use it sometimes for ley line hunting to try to find ley lines. And I've done this on a number of structures, usually city halls or, you know, a courthouse in small towns, or a courthouse that would have been there a long time ago before a town built up around it. And if they're aligned exactly north, south, east, west, then I'm going to be looking for certain things. And amazingly, a lot of my cases have been near buildings like that. So I think they're creating a portal, which could be anywhere.
I have investigated Masonic halls, old Masonic halls in Missouri, Kansas, and New Mexico. And I ain't found one yet that didn't have some weird stuff going on in it.
Yeah, you know, come to think of it, there's a Masonic hall in Springfield, Missouri on Route 66. Have you been in that one?
Not that one, no.
Well, I was there to speak at a paranormal conference a few years ago, and then they did a ghost hunt after. And this is a huge structure. I don't know how many square feet, but it's just massive. 3 stories. And on the top level is a theater with a huge stage.
Okay.
And so when we walked up there, I could feel heavy presence, then went out on the stage, and we got to a certain spot. Gene Walker was with me.
Okay, yeah.
We got to a spot, and I looked up, and I saw a man fall from way up, you know, on the little catwalk, and then fall to his death right in front of us.
Oh, my.
And I did not know the history of the place. I just knew it was most likely haunted.
Yeah.
So there were some people giving a tour, and I told her what I just saw. She goes, that is exactly where this young man fell to his death in 1937.
Okay.
Exactly. So I had seen that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was another spirit that was over in the corner off the side of the stage, and they were trying to hide. So I left them alone. And there was another one in the green room that I felt was female. That place is haunted, Dan.
One of the ones I got to check out. Well, I checked out one that's a police station now. And that was crazy. It was upstairs. One was a friend of mine's home that still had the original elevator in downtown Herman. And we got a lot of crazy stuff there. The courthouse that Billy the Kid killed Deputy Aller in and has made his big escape has on the top level a Masonic hall. And that place gave me the creeps. And there's some great stories connected to that, which I've written about. So, yeah, they seem all of them have that. One in Kansas was amazing and had a lot of action to it. Oh, hold on. For some reason, you got muted.
Pendants, a Masonic hall, old, very old, over 100 years old. And it's very haunted.
Yeah. I wonder why Masonic halls specifically.
Well, I think it's because of the building materials that they're using stone with quartz in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that amplifies energy. So I really think that that's the reason.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's talk a little bit about, we talked about Missouri pretty well last night, but you hit some places that we did not talk about in the book. One of them was the spook light that I went out there looking for it once, spent several hours, and it was just a night it was not going to play.
Yeah, I had two experiences. I've been down there several times, but I had two experiences. One was when I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a history of the spook light. It's been there for 250 years right. that it's been talked about. Came down through Native American lore, and then local residents saw it. And it's sometimes more than one, sometimes two appear, or sometimes more, usually one or two.
Mm-hmm.
And the color is usually a gold color, but sometimes blue. And I know other groups who have investigated and had the experience as well. It's a very, very strange phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 14, my father said to me and my sister and brother and my mom, do you guys want to go out and see the spook light? Well, we lived south of Joplin at that time.
Okay.
So we had heard about it. Absolutely, yeah, we want to go see it. Well, at that time, the trees were growing up over the roads. It was very dark. There were no street lights along the way. And so it was easy to see anything out of the ordinary. We're driving along the road. Dad's going very slow in our station wagon, had the windows down.
Mm-hmm.
And off to our right suddenly appears this basketball-sized orangey gold ball of light, okay. And then a smaller one behind it. And so they were moving along, and we all caught eye of it. My dad stopped the car. The big one went around in front of the vehicle to the other side of the road. The mm-hmm. little one came in the window of the back seat and had this soft glow to it, so it lit things up as it went through, and went, through the whole back seat, out the other window, met up with the other one, and they both danced around and then went into the woods. Now, that's one of the more unusual types of sightings, but other people have had that happen to them, mm-hmm. where it will interact. It's like they're trying to figure out who you are or checking you out, right. And they don't. It doesn't seem to bother them if you're quiet. But the thing is, if you make a noise, if you're noisy, they won't hang around. They'll leave.
Okay.
So that's the trick to seeing the spook light, is going there, sitting quietly, and don't say anything. Just sit there quiet. And maybe it'll approach you.
A friend of mine down there who used to be the kind of, I want to say, resident sensitive for Prosperity School Bed and Breakfast when it was a B&B. His name was Corey Giles. And he said he had been driving out there with his girlfriend looking for the light. And a ball of orange light came through the back glass and stopped between him and her and just sat there for a second and then zoomed back out through the back glass.
Wow.
So it was he was like afraid he was going to go off the road, but he didn't want to take his eyes off of it.
Right. Yeah, that's a unique one. Gene Walker went there, I think in the 60s, with her girlfriend and their two boyfriends. So the two girls are in the front, the guys are in the back, and they're in a convertible. So they drive out, and at that time there used to be a drop off. So you would stop the vehicle and look way down into like a little valley, which they've now changed. So you don't see that anymore. But at that time, so they're sitting there quietly, and here they start watching this ball of light down in the valley moving around. And it was, she said, about the size of a beach ball, basketball to beach ball size. It came up, went on the hood of the car, and then came towards them and started to go over them. And the girls were so freaked out, they started screaming, and the light just shot off as soon as they started screaming. It was
made
gone.
Noise. Yeah.
Yeah. So not a good idea. Wow. And then just a few years ago, I went down, I think this was 2017.
Okay.
John Cruzan was a UFO experiencer, big time. He had a huge sighting. He became a MUFON member, and then he started a MUFON group. And so he had me come down to speak, and I brought Gene Walker with me. And then he took us out to see the spook light, and his son was there too. So he knew that the opportune place to go, because he'd been there over 200 times investigating the spook light.
Okay.
And so had been there for a while. We really hadn't seen anything. And about an hour and a half into it, he says, psychics have sometimes been able to contact the spook light and ask it to come forward. Well, the spook light appeared at the end of the road, and then a small one underneath it. And it was still off in the distance. And so I said, well, let me try. So I sat in my car. I telepathically contacted the spook light. And oddly, what I saw, I didn't know what to expect, but what I saw was a Native American man in a crouched position with this light around him. So I thought, this is a spirit of a Native American. And so Gene and John says, oh, it's coming forward. It's coming forward. So I got out of the car, and you can see it got a lot closer to us, and I got it on film.
Okay.
And then it went back and went away. Then we started hearing these yelps and whoops in the woods. And Gene says, what is that? John says, oh, people think that those are Native American spirits. And I said, no, those are Bigfoot. Whoa. They are calling to each other. And I remote viewed, I could see them. There were a lot of them standing around. And then that stopped. And then John says, look up in the sky. We see these three lights in a complete perfect triangle shape. Yeah. The triangles just starts moving. It was sitting still for a long time. Then it just starts moving very slowly across the sky. I said, so how often do you see UFOs when you come out here, John? He says, almost every time.
Oh, my.
So we got the spook lights, Bigfoot, UFO, the same location on the same night. So for people who are looking for an adventure, and go out there, there's two things I want to tell you. The neighbors hate people coming out there. So be very quiet and pull off to the side of the road and stay out of the way.
Not in the driveways, yes.
No driveways. Try to stay away from houses if you're going to do this. And then be quiet. Don't have a radio on and don't talk, and you might have an experience.
Okay.
But another team that I know of here in Kansas City has been down there several times, and they did something for a TV channel. In fact, this is on TV, and I can't remember the name of their group. One of them went on the Oklahoma side, and the other team was on the Missouri side, and they sat there and waited, and the spook light appeared between the two of them, and it was a bluish color, though, this time. As the one team approached, they suddenly couldn't see it anymore. But when they backed up, they could see it again. Okay. So then the second team on the Missouri side tried the same thing to get close, and then it disappeared, and then they backed up, and they could see it again. So there's that phenomena has happened at the Marley Woods, and it's happened in other places as well. When if you approach a light, it will disappear from view, but if you let it approach you, it may not.
Okay.
So that would be my tips for seeing spook lights.
All right. Well, we got so much more to talk about, but I do have to help you pay the bills. So I'm going to step away for just a minute. Be right back.
Okay.
Oh, guys, so much on Route 66. And like I said, I lived on it. I did a lot of ghost hunting on it. I got a lot of stories we could tell, but I'm here to talk to Margie about it. So you guys get right back here because we've got more to talk about. But I do want you to watch this.
The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unex Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to Research a Haunted House can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unexmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unexmedia.com or amazon.com. The Unex Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full-spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes, made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unex Network website at unexnetwork.com. That's unexnetwork.com.
All right, friends, I've talked to you before, and we talk every week about joining the Unex Network. It's really easy. At the end of the show, I'll tell you more about it. We just had this year's XCon, and it was about conspiracies and conspiracy theories. Tyler Koala, who's been on my show multiple times, he was there talking about the secret space fleet. There was a bunch of other stories on that. If you haven't seen it, we got to see if we can find a way for you to get on. Other than that, there'll be another XCon next year, I'm sure. There's a lot going on. We'll talk about that, but I want to get back to Margie and discuss more about the Route 66.
And just back on XCon for just a second.
Yes.
We are putting everything up on demand next week, so everybody will be able to see XCon 2025 on demand very soon. And we're going to be doing another one in January, I believe.
Really?
January or February. It's going to be all UFO.
Okay. I look forward to seeing that one. Aside from Tyler and his secret space fleet, which I've had him on my show discussing it, what other topics did we hit real briefly?
Oh gosh, secrets of medbed technology, chemtrails, smart meters, every conspiracy theory that you can think of, including UFOs, is in there. Yeah, with some really good speakers.
Yeah, it looked it, and man, guys, you got to check this stuff out. And the UNX Network runs shows every week on all these topics, so keep an eye open. All right, so getting back to it, we have discussed a little bit about New Mexico. What about Illinois? Because that's a big chunk of Route 66 right there.
Oh, it is, and it's the oldest part of Route 66, and it's got a big history. We started in Chicago, of course. Mm-hmm. If we go to the Congress Plaza Hotel, which is probably the most famous haunted place in Chicago, have you been there, Dan?
I have not. No.
Okay, I haven't either. We'll have to do a trip together there sometime to investigate this. Al Capone's ghost is hanging out there for sure, and a lot of others. He was supposedly he had his headquarters on the 8th floor, but of the North Tower. But there's no historical records with his name there. Now, the historians say he would have been using a fake name. He is not going to use Al Capone. So that's supposedly there. And the thing is that the guests report encountering a heavyset man in an old-fashioned suit roaming the corridors at night. Okay. And they hear the distinctive sound of his two-tone wingtip shoes clicking down the hallways. So he's probably still hanging out there because that was a favorite of his.
There's a ghost I'd like to meet.
Yeah, well, me too, as a matter of fact. So that would make a good trip.
All the way down Grafton and all of that. What would you say was the most haunted place in Illinois along Route 66?
Well, now that's a tough one because the hotel, of course, claims that they are the most haunted, and who says who's?
Yeah, well, I've got.
Who knows how to compare? Right, I know. Yeah. But that one, it's got other ghosts too. It's got Peg Leg Johnny. It's very frequently spotted at that location. It's a one-legged vagrant who died in the alley behind the hotel, and staff and people have seen him. Okay. There's a lot of poltergeist activity in room 441. So if you want to have your blankets torn off of you in the middle of the night by a female figure, then go there. Yeah, there's a lot. As we go down and then hit Missouri, of course, we're going to get the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis.
Of course. You and I have both been there multiple times.
Yes, we have. And we talked about that before, but it's, I got all kinds of evidence on equipment, temperature dropping 10 degrees within a few seconds in one room, EMF meters going crazy in multiple rooms. So I think there are a number of spirits there. In fact, I went there with Debbie Ziegelmeyer several years ago. When we first arrived, we just went into the dining room to have lunch, and I see a full-bodied apparition of a woman dressed in a maid's outfit, all black with a white long down to the floor, and a white apron and a white hat, and she was serving as if that was their dining area at the time, standing there. And I said, Debbie, do you see that? She goes, see what? So she didn't see it, but I certainly did. And then this spirit looked at me and went back about her work. So it wasn't a time imprint. So it was a real ghost haunting. Right. And so then I asked the server, the man who was serving us, if he'd ever seen a woman dressed like that. And he goes, oh, yes, that's so-and-so. She's here all the time.
Okay.
So the staff has seen her too.
Mm-hmm.
But as we get down, the haunted Rubel Hotel in Grafton, there's a place I was at recently because I went to the Journey to Truth conference the last
okay, yeah,
2 or 3 years. And so this last April, they had a conference and I'd heard about this hotel. So I thought, I'm going to stay in that hotel because it's the most haunted, because there were no more rooms at the conference site. And this is was built in 1879. It's got gorgeous architecture. I just love that time period.
Okay.
It was built by a man called Michael Rubel, and he boasted a saloon as well. It burned down in 1912, but it was rebuilt with a dance floor and a restaurant. And right now, it does have an operating restaurant, bar, and a hotel. So when we first arrived, we weren't there but a few minutes, and I heard this banging coming from the outside wall on the outside of the room. So I opened the door, and there's nobody there. I closed the door, went back inside. I hear bang, 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 bang. I mean, it was loud, super loud. And went back out, and there's nothing there. So I asked the staff about it, and they said, well, we've had a number of things happen, but that isn't one of them. And so they have to add that to their list of rooms where something strange is going on. And apparently there's a little girl there's a lot going on there, but there's a little girl named Abigail that's been seen in the upstairs hallway of that hotel and on the stairs by many patrons. She either died of tuberculosis or in the 1912 fire. Nobody knows. The child may be responsible for footsteps heard late at night, items vanishing, and unexplained orbs witnessed by patrons and paranormal investigators. But I spoke with a past guest. This is outside the hotel. The past guest said her aunt was tripped on the stairs by an unseen leg. And they think that little girl did the tripping. So she told me to be careful if I went on the stairs.
Yeah.
Well, I decided, and that is the only way to get up. There's no elevator there. I decided I wasn't going to be going on the second floor for that reason. I did get several photos of the area inside, but I did feel the presence of that child.
Okay.
And then the staff also told me that they have most of their activity is in the kitchen. So they'll have pots and pans banging, doors opening, and then in the very back of the hotel where they get their deliveries, a ghost will take something like they'll be in the middle of bringing in some boxes, right, from outside, from a delivery. And they'll have a box sitting on the side ready to come in. They go turn around and it's gone.
Okay.
And then they find it back in the truck where there has been nobody there to do that. So they'll just, just messing with them all the time.
Yeah. I love that kind of ghost story too. Nothing's deadly frightening, nothing demonic, just ghosts having fun.
They do. And sometimes sometimes they're very ornery. And if you what I found in my house, I have a couple of ghosts. If you don't pay attention to them once in a while, they will act out.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that?
I had one in my house in New Haven. Came with the house. And if I was ghost hunting too many other places, he would get more active. He would hide things.
Wow.
He once almost appeared. When I walked into the room, I could see him. And then it just disappeared in a second. But it's like he was just trying to get attention because I'm paying attention to other ghosts too much.
So there's a jealousy factor there.
I thought so. Yeah. I invited him to come out with me. Nobody else, no other spirits, just him. But I think he's still in that place.
Wow. Well, I had something creepy happen to me the other day, which I haven't talked about this publicly yet, if you want to hear it.
You tell.
Okay. We moved in my house 38 years ago.
Okay.
Right after we moved in, we heard big, huge steps going up and down, like someone wearing boots going up and down the steps. Doors slamming. I'm like, okay, well, it's haunted, just like every other house I've lived in. But then the activity calmed down. You know, there would be long periods of time where nothing would happen, and then something would happen. Well, one day, I had my daughter at the time was 12 years old, and she had a cast on her leg. And her friend, which was also 12 years old, was spending the night. She had a broken leg, had a cast on her leg, but they could still get around and do things. Well, we had dinner, and I was cleaning up after dinner, and I made the two of them do the dishes with their casts on, which they thought was funny. They were laughing about it. So they're doing the dishes. Well, I turned around, and there was, at that time, the house was built in 1939.
Okay.
And the kitchen, even though there was an addition put on, we had not remodeled that kitchen yet. It's since been completely remodeled. At the time, the original drawers were there. And you know how they stick? Sometimes you can't, and this was a big drawer. Our junk drawer got stuck all the time. So I just left it an inch out so I could actually open the thing. And I looked, and the drawer was closed all the way. So I said, who closed that drawer? Now, nobody else in the house at the moment, right? My husband wasn't there, nobody else. We hear a man's deep voice say, I did.
Wow.
We looked at each other, and we all said, you know, we heard that. What's going on? Did you say that? No, I didn't say that. You know, and so I said, okay, everybody watch everyone else with a stand in a circle. I'm going to ask that question again. I said, who closed that drawer? And this time he's angry. I did. Like that, but deeper than that. My daughter's friend packed her stuff up, called her mom, left, and never came back in the house again.
Oh.
Okay. So that's what I was dealing with. He was a prankster. And then maybe 15 years after that, we had the family over for dinner. And I'm telling this story. And he said it out loud. I did, right in the middle of the room, so that everybody in my family could hear it. And nobody could believe that. But other than that, we hadn't had many problems. There's also a little girl ghost, about 11 years old. It's been seen as a full-bodied apparition on a number of occasions near the furnace in the basement, where I believe she died. Near the furnace because of carbon monoxide poisoning, and also on up the stairs in the kitchen is where she's been seen. Well, I have not been paying attention to those spirits for quite some time. Monday morning, I get up to go to work. Now, my husband's already gone. He's an early riser. I started down the steps, and all of a sudden I get hit with gas smell.
Okay.
So I raced down, opened the side door, went out on the deck to get some fresh air. It was permeated. If there had been any kind of a spark, that house would have blown up.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, let me just leave the store open. I sat on the deck for a few minutes, like 15 minutes, waiting for it to clear out. I go back. It's still not cleared out. It's really, really heavy. So, I covered my mouth and I ran over to the stove, and here was the knob was turned just enough to let the gas go, but not light. So I put the knob back up.
Okay.
Called my husband, tell him the situation. And he said, I was nowhere near that stove this morning. And I said, well, the last time I was near the stove was cooking last night at like 6, 7 o'clock. And if I had left that on, we would have smelled it by the time we went to bed.
Right.
There's no way we wouldn't have noticed that. So that had to have happened. He's freaking out about it. I'm freaking out because that house could have blown up. And so I remote viewed it. It was not the man. It was a little girl ghost. She says, I did it.
Why?
Says, I'm sorry, I did it. I'm like, why did you do it? And she said, because no one's paying attention to me.
Wow.
So they will do bad things if you don't
Apparently.
pay. She actually, and then she said, I wanted you to be with me.
Oh, that's frightening.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So for the first time ever, I got rid of both of those spirits.
Mm.
I was leaving them alone because they weren't causing a problem,
Right.
but that they had to go. So
Sure.
they're gone now.
We could sit and talk about ghosts all night, and we have, but we got to think about ending the show. I'm afraid we're going to talk about the Hotel Monte Vista. That's on Route 66, and I think that's the only thing we didn't quite. And this one, the Red Garter.
Oh, the Red Garter. Let's go to the Red Garter.
All right.
Because that's, as you could probably guess, it was once a brothel.
Okay.
And let me find Red Garter here so I get my facts right. Red Garter Inn in Williams. And so that is Williams, Arizona.
Okay.
It's the gateway to the Grand Canyon. And it was built in 1897. So we've got another Victorian building. Mm-hmm. It served as a saloon and a brothel. And lots of things have gone on in there. So some people see the ghost of Eva in a white gown. And it's a young woman who worked in the upstairs rooms during the early 1900s. Mm-hmm. But she had a violent death at the hands of either a jealous lover or an enraged client. But the circumstances are not clear about that. She does appear most frequently on the second floor where the brothel rooms once operated. Guests describe her as a translucent figure with flowing hair, dressed in pristine white gown that defies the dusty desert environment outside. She doesn't walk, she glides through corridors. If you ever seen a ghost do that, that's so creepy.
Yeah.
I've seen it. They don't need to walk, they'll just float. Sometimes guests find her standing at the foot of their beds in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. That's creepy. And then the moment they acknowledge her presence, she disappears. Some photographs have been taken of unexplained orbs and misty apparitions. And then it seems to spike around the anniversary of her death. And I don't know what that is because that's up for debate as well. Guests also say that there are several other spirits in the building. Some hands stroke their hair, touch their shoulders, and brush against their arms.
Okay.
And it's usually when people are alone when that happens, which is even worse. And also, they occur day and night. So you can experience anything day or night there. The most unsettling report is beds shaking violently without explanation. I don't like that one. I've had that happen. They have a feeling that someone is sat down beside them. Mm-hmm. And then being very aggressive and making it impossible to sleep. So then also, of course, electronic malfunctions, batteries draining, which ghosts are known to do, lights flickering, etc. And the electrical, of course, has all been replaced. It's all new, but it still happens. Doors open on their own and unlock on their own. So much for safety in a hotel. You might want to take a special lock with you. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on there in that hotel. Okay. That's a lot
going on Route 66, then, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. You will not be disappointed if you're going to take a road trip. I kind of made this as a guide so that as you're traveling through on the route, we'd know where to stop to investigate.
And once again, that is Take a Haunted Road Trip, Route US 66, on Route 66 by Margie K. And you've heard some of the stories, but I know there's a hell of a lot more because there's a lot of haunted places along the Mother Road.
Yeah, there sure are.
It's a shame that the diner isn't there anymore, the the old diamonds. It was crazy haunted, but the tornado took care of it this year.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of places like that that have disappeared along the way. But the thing is, it's not just the locations that are haunted, it's the road that's haunted because of all of these accidents over the years. People will see apparitions and have strange occurrences happen. And then if you're really, really brave, go off on the spur on 666.
Okay, yes, Route 666. I've got to try that one again. Margie, before you leave, I do want you to join me because I tell the people at the end of the show about joining the Onyx Network. And if I remember right, first page, down a little bit, there's the fill in the blanks to help join.
Yes, yes. It's easy to join, or you can get a membership if you wish. You can get a monthly membership where you get different perks with each thing. And so we have a newsletter, of course, for everybody, and that comes out almost daily. It's going to be a lot. We have our blog, and right now, Violet has been putting together this wonderful blog with things to do during the spooky season in each state in the country.
Oh, yeah, I've been watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, every state there's a lot of cool stuff, and she's really done a lot of research on it. So that's up. And then, of course, we do other regular blog articles. And we have an X magazine, which is bi-monthly now. So every other month, you will get a magazine, and that'll either be digital or in print, depending on which membership level you've got. And everybody who I've been getting a lot of good feedback about the magazine. I turned the managing editor position over to my daughter, Maria McKenzie, and she's been doing a great job with it. It looks totally different, but it's good.
I like the covers of it. In fact, I think I got one right here that is, I guess, the most recent. And I do love that cover. That is really an attention getter.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's awesome.
She does a really good job with graphics, and it takes one more thing off of my shoulders. So,
and we do have to just briefly mention, because we're running out of time, the XCon. We just finished one. You've got another one coming up in January.
Yep, January, February. Watch the newsletter, sign up. You will get the notices. And this one I'm turning over to Race, and he's going to pull in some of his UFO buddies on it. I think it's going to be good. It's just going to be a one-dayer. We're going to do one-day conferences from now on. Makes it simple, most likely on a Saturday.
Is it going to be at a place, or is it going to be another?
It's going to be virtual.
Perfect. That's great.
Yep.
Because the price of hotels, food, gas.
And taking time off of work and so it's a lot of expense for the people attending, but it's a lot of expense for the person putting it on. Absolutely. And the hotels, their rates have just gone insane, and it's crazy amount of money to put one on in person. So hey, we're doing virtual. It works, and anybody can attend.
All right, well, friends, you've heard it all. Margie, if you'll hang on for just a little bit, we'll talk after the show. I'm going to have to shut us down, though. So, friends, I want you guys, it's a Halloween season. Enjoy it. Get out and check out the ghost tours. And I think most important of all, y'all need to stay spooked, okay? Good night.